Alrighty. Looks like we're on the internet.
The interwebs.
We're on the internet. And
there we are.
You might have to switch.
Now you can see us. You can hear us, and now you can see us. So, good evening. Welcome to another night with Scuba and the Rye and friends. What do we got here tonight? What's up with this? I got invaded, man.
We got invaded. Rye guy is pleased. Let's
So
have more voices.
friends hanging out here. What's going on with this?
Here and everywhere.
Well, I'm Volgraza. Nice to meet you. I've been on, helped with some art and just on the Patreon side. And of course, smell it in there.
Everybody's heard my voice. I don't need any introduction on that one.
Yeah.
This is my beautiful face. It might interfere with some people's
Put
eyesight.
that in quotes, people. Quotes. This is prettier.
Beauty is relative.
If you want to define relative.
I'm no relative to you, so...
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Beholder. Let's behold.
And the beholder has one eye.
One ears.
I thought they had like 8. More than
No,
that.
the eye stalks. That's something else. But, so then they cast spells
right,
and you're
the
just all
main
kinds
eye,
of...
or
Yeah, the main eye.
The main eye, right.
So, if the main eye sees you, you're obviously worth something because all of his attention is now on you.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, there's another rabbit hole we went down. All right, so yeah, another night with us. We're gonna sit and have some chats and talk about some things, and of course we have our friends hanging out with us too. So, any announcements we gotta make?
Announcing that I don't know.
I've got one.
You got one.
I've got one.
What is the one?
I've got one, and it's gonna start with an apology. That
Apologizing?
I am going to apologize to people who see this or been looking for, hey, I missed your live show. Where can I check out the podcast? And where can I check out the VOD? Well, I've been a little rough because, real life tends to interfere. But I can say definitively as of right now, if you want to catch out the audio podcast, go to Spotify, Apple, or Google, look for Scuba Studio, and you'll see Scuba and the Rye. And every episode up till this one is set to come out every day this week until Sunday, which then will catch me all up on the audio. On video-wise, if you check out our YouTube channel, Scuba Studio, you'll see every day this week a different video from the podcast will be released.
Yes.
Also, the audio version of the Hunters Roundtable I did with Shadowmanes and crew is also going to come out on Sunday.
That's good.
I'm shifting the release for the audio. Instead of 7 p.m., it's now going to come out on 7 a.m. on Sundays.
Boom.
So, I'm going to set this up. We'll be back on for a weekly release after this, but rather than make you wait for all the past stuff, I'm just going to get it all out now. That way I don't have to... That way you guys can catch up, and then we'll all be on track going forward.
Yeah.
Nice.
So... Thank you. Sorry, and hopefully y'all enjoy. Another thing is I started a new show. It's Scuba Builds. It's a stream here on Twitch on Wednesday nights. Also on Mixer if you're checking us out on Mixer. And basically I'm going to do dungeon crafting, which I'll get into because I got a little clip of that. We'll get into later today. So I think that's it for major announcements that I can talk about right now.
That's awesome.
Also, the new Facebook page is up. So.
Check it out, people.
That we'll have both pages up for a little while, but probably in a month or so I'm going to take down the old one and just live on the new one.
It's easier to live in a house.
Anyways,
Live it up, people. Live it up.
So,
Yes.
as with our normal format, the first thing we're going to talk about is what's up, which is basically what we've been up to. And you know what? I think we're going to have Graza here start because the most interesting what's up is this dude shows up at my house today. Oh my god, I had no idea.
He's here.
So,
He's right here.
Dude, what have you been up to since the last time I heard from you?
Well, just basically doing different things here and there, art and other things. I'm still working on your stuff. That's still in the works.
It's there. It's happening,
effort.
people.
I am patiently excited to see because it's pretty much that. Hey, I just have these simple little things, and I'm leaving it to the design artist to just run wild with it. So I'm eagerly excited, and I'm sure everybody else will be pleasantly surprised to see it once it starts going up everywhere.
Yes,
that I have all these
absolutely.
holes.
Absolutely. So the other things we've been doing is just chilling out and working on Space Engineers. I do streams with some friends every Sunday night and Monday nights. That's been going really well. Just living life. I got to actually come up here because of a thing with my brother, and I won't go into too much detail. But basically, we had a disagreement, and I had to basically got kicked out, so to speak. But it wasn't anything like I said anything bad or anything like that, or it was just one of those things where he was heard about the conversation, so to speak. Yeah, does that make sense?
Oh no.
Yeah. So, well, now I'm here. I'm just chilling out for a while until my wife finds a place for us to move back into. So,
Okay.
but other than that, I'm in good spirits, good company, and really enjoying the time to myself.
Well, everyone needs a vacation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you just happen to have yours now.
A
So
little forced vacation.
and that's all right though.
Onward.
So I mean, we're Saladin's definitely going to show them a good time, but I think we're going to have some fun too because I think we're talking about going out to
Yes.
Ballahack on this weekend.
Ballahack and I'll shadow you, Scuba, and see how the rules go because I don't know anything about airsoft, but it sounds like fun. Saladin talks about it all the time. So I was like,
Lots of good stories
the best
coming
way
out
to
of there.
probably learn the rules of the game is shadow the guy who's refereeing the game.
We could probably give you the safety brief in the show, and you'll be straight for going out there.
Oh, okay.
Do this, and this,
It's
and
very
boom.
it's very simple. It's an honor-based system, and when in doubt, call your hit. You get that, you're good for the rest of it.
Awesome. Well, it's still be interesting to see how it actually all works and different things like that. Because I mean, I don't have really any experience shooting a lot. I mean, I have fired real firearms before, but nothing like airsoft or anything like that. So
Well, on that note, it's the distance is a lot closer, and it's a lot less accurate.
oh, well, that's good to know. They're
It's
shooting at me. Probably not gonna hit me. Ow, it hurts.
Completely confetti.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so it's all good there. Anything else? That's good, right? Well,
Yeah.
you're good. Okay.
I was reading the thing here.
Oh.
Welcome to the chat, Jamspar. Good to see you again, man. We're gonna turn over to Saladin because he's been hiding out at home working on a new server that is like this hush hush secret scroll thing to do.
Don't talk about it.
But he's taught me a lot of how to run the studio solo, so it's kind of weird because he's sitting here with the computer keyboard, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing things. Anyways, so what have you been up to?
About 5'6", normal. I haven't shrunk or grown anymore.
Yeah, you haven't done anything crazy like shave your beard.
No,
Nothing.
it has not.
Not gonna happen.
Well, of course,
Right now.
people on here may have heard my voice, but they have not ever really seen me other than me running by going, get out of my way. But seen the back of me or possibly my face once in a while. But
Maybe a hand.
yeah. But otherwise, I've been doing a lot of server work, kind of a hush-hush thing. Can't really say too much about it, but been working on that a lot. And helping the friend get through some rough times and trying to keep hush-hush about surprising someone
That was fun.
about this arrival that he had no clue about for close to 3
Today.
weeks.
Given the way my week went last week, yeah, this is a good surprise.
So it's been a rough couple weeks trying to keep this from him as he has been asking me questions of, oh, you need someone to watch the cats. No, I'm good. I'm good. I have someone already doing that. But where are you going? Well, I'm just taking a trip.
To
Well-
Indiana. I live in Georgia.
Yeah, and had to come up with a story real quick that he would believe, or at least hopefully somewhat think is plausible. And it worked because came in and I said hey, he said hi, and then Mr. Valgarzo spoke, and All you heard was what?
Sounds
From the other room.
I heard a voice. What is that? Why aren't you on the other side of the mic?
This is a new person who shows up. All right.
But
Hi.
otherwise,
my name is...
not really much going on. Minus working on
The trip up here was awesome, yeah?
doing the work, and yeah, the trip up. We'll go over that in odds and ends or the Patreon section. So if
Yeah,
you're
we'll-
not already a Patreon,
Subscribe, people.
subscribe, because then you'll hear about the lovely trip. We left his house at 10 o'clock, but never hit the road till 1. So
AM or PM?
PM.
Hey, we left it, we got there at 10.
No.
You left the
We
house
left at 1 p.m., but it's just,
You left the house at 10 a.m.
Correct.
But you did not get on the road to drive here until 1 p.m.
Correct.
There's a reason for that. And it's complicated, but it's also a very interesting story. So stay tuned.
For Patreon.
For Patreon.
Yes! Exclamation Patreon. Thank you, James Park.
And,
All right.
You get to learn about a place called Cowpens as well.
Yes, Patreon
Mystery.
tonight. Patreon chat tonight's going to be fun.
Mystery.
It might be a full show just with the Patreon. Heads up, people.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, what about you? What have you been up to?
Lots of work. Busy at work.
Busy at work.
Being trained on some new stuff there. And then also a deep diving into gaming, especially one specific game, which I'll talk about later. But typical weekend, just chilling around, doing my normal runs in the park and catching Pokemon. But there's a couple new things.
what's that?
I've been scouting for a new couch, so I went to another furniture store just to look
Oh, yes.
around.
How is that quest going?
The quest is going good, actually.
Oh, really?
Because I'm getting good variety.
So is it one of those grinding quests where you gotta kill 20 different things
No,
just to
it's
get
one
a
of those,
minuscule amount of
like,
supplies to get it, or is it one of those you've got to look for the right shiny object in the right location?
I'm looking at variety. So I'm taking out, I'm grinding here, grinding there, killing salespeople to keep them from talking to me. Every time I walk in, it's like, do you need help? No. Just no.
No.
I'm here
Don't
looking.
distract
Don't
NPC.
distract me.
Don't distract me.
Because the way I shop with the furniture, I look at the couch and then I have to visualize, make sure it would fit perfectly in front of my 65-inch TV. So, there's 2 couches on the books. I have it on my photos on my phone if you wanted to see later, but maybe for the Patreon people. But the other thing is, my friend Sean invited me out to Funny Bone on Saturday night. And we got to see T.J. Miller do stand-up. If you know T.J. Miller, he's from Deadpool, Silicon Valley. And he was pretty funny.
The guy with the avocado line?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
T.J. Miller.
Yes.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
so.
That is him.
Yeah, his set, he had a set, but he went straight improv and roasting. It's half improv, half roasting, because what happened is, just to preface, Hampton Roads is a big military community. Everybody knows this.
Mhm.
Even people outside of the area know this.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing a bit about the military, and he's talking about, going on deployment and cruises. So somebody out in the audience decided, I know properly what to explain. He goes and speaks up, and that led into a whole new slew of funny jokes. Roasting to the extreme. And that T.J. Miller married somebody on stage.
Oh.
Yes.
Is he like an ordained minister?
No, he's not.
Oh.
He did it pre and post ordained.
Pre and post ordained.
Yes,
Okay.
that's how, as he explained it on stage, that's how he did it.
I'm an ordained minister myself.
But the best part was him roasting that Navy guy.
Nice.
Oh, the Navy.
And
Oh,
just,
Navy.
yeah, well, I guess he was Navy, but he was the, I know my stuff, military guy, and it put him in his place. And it was great.
Joy.
Yes. It's like, just know, if you go to a comedy club and you think you know something, you're going to get roasted.
On the side note there was a comedian I saw on YouTube, and he's like, I don't know about you guys, but you guys paid to come see me, I didn't pay to come see you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Some comedians, they have a puppet that'll roast you like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But it's just another check in the box of having a good time at Funny Bone, because I've seen comedians I knew, comedians I've never heard of, and every time I've gone, I have laughed till I was right in my face.
Nice.
So,
nice.
yeah, it's great times. But other than that, just work and gaming and then prepping for that GRE.
Yep. We're eagerly anticipating for the results of the GRE when you finally
I'm
take it.
eagerly anticipating
We're
getting
down,
it
we're down
done.
to what, 2 weeks,
It's
right?
next Friday.
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Oh, nice.
So I'll start looking at the math portion, and just hoping for the best.
All right. Well, you know what? Oddly enough, my week has been fairly calm and quiet, other than, did some time on the airsoft field, had the guys over for Agents of Short on Sunday, so shenanigans ensued.
Just above the water.
Yep.
Okay.
And then that was probably the most things. Also getting caught up on, because the last few weeks I've been kind of a depressed funk with being overloaded, feeling overloaded, whatever. But then last week I kind of it seemed like it turned a point, and then it was like, oh, cool, let me take a look at this. And then it's boom, 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 boom.
I noticed
everything's getting knocked out, everything's getting
I was getting
put
alerts
together.
on my phone. I was like, wait, here's the podcast.
Yep. So last it was getting all the video stuff there, and then getting all the audio stuff out yesterday was that's satisfaction. So it should be going good. The build stream last week was really good.
Yeah.
So that's mainly what I've been working on, but I don't want to take up too much time because we have everybody here. So we're gonna have fun in that. We're gonna keep going. And we're going to start off with our movie reviews.
I'm looking forward to this one because we read back in high school it was required.
Alrighty. So, I'll put our focus on the Rye Guy.
This
And
guy.
this week we're going to talk about Call of the Wild.
Calling to the Wild with a
So-
CGI dog. Woo!
Alrighty, so Call of the Wild. This is modern telling of a classic story by Jack London. This time we have Harrison Ford. And in the Yukon of the era that I can't remember the exact year, so I don't want to say it and mess it up, but
I'm not sure of the year. I don't remember.
it had to be during, most of these were probably the gold rush of the Yukon in the
Yeah.
late 1800s.
They did
late-
emphasize
early
the fact
1900s
that's
or
what
whatever.
That's,
So.
the whole centralized point is around that gold rush, and that's how Buck, who is the main character of this film, gets pulled away from his California home and sold as a sled dog to the Yukon. And then from there, it's all about his adventure of finding his true calling, since he was pulled away from his own home to come to the Yukon. But there's two different stories that are happening.
Okay.
The one that you know of that you see in the trailers with Harrison Ford, you see him, but that's actually the latter half. A bulk of the film focuses on another character that they don't even reference in the trailers at all.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, first things first, the movie focuses on Buck, and Buck is a CGI created dog. It's pretty obvious when you see it, but it's not obvious to the point that it pulls you out of the film. But you know he's a CGI created dog, but they do a really good job at rendering him like a real canine. So he feels, he interacts, he does everything like a typical dog. But it's a benefit that they did use CGI because it allows then for a lot more explanation and mobility and more of, in a very ironic way, characterization of the character, because there's certain scenes and certain scenarios that happen of the growth of the dog, of him going from being domesticated to being, in the wild.
Oh, really?
So he comes across different, trials by fire that you would say when he gets taken away from his home.
Okay.
So the whole central conflict is about him
Adapting to this new environment.
Yeah, but it also gives a good premise of people just having personal conflict about trying to find their place. So it plays on those basic tropes of that within, an adventure story. But like I said,
it's not a unique story.
It's not a unique
There's
story.
so many Balto, Iron Will,
there's a lot of them.
Alpha.
Alpha.
Yes.
It just utilizes the hero's journey story to help with and using that for conflict.
Yep.
But like I mentioned, like there is a part of this film that's not even shown in the trailers. Like the bulk.
Oh, we don't want to spoil that.
Oh no.
No.
But,
if you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie.
Go watch the movie. But basically, basically you get the setup when he gets taken to Yukon, and there's two stories that happen. Him being the sled dog for one of the characters that is even mentioned in the trailers, and then also him going on this journey with Harrison Ford, which is the second part of that adventure.
Okay, well that's a nice change.
Yeah. So the two contrasting stories help build the character of Buck, you know, because you start to see how his domesticated life wasn't truly his, and now he's out in this wild and he's finding his true self. But it parallels the human stories because also you have Harrison Ford who plays John Thornton that, you know, he's struggling with certain things, but being paired with this dog, and, you know, you get your companionship that you find in, you know, man with dog. It's very typical, but, you know, there's a wholesomeness to it. Yeah, I know. I can tell, but I'm ignoring it. See,
yes,
I'm learning.
You're getting better.
Yeah,
you're getting better.
But yeah, so a lot of the film is predicated on the fact you just have to ignore a lot of the typical cliches and tropes of an adventure film to enjoy the central focus, which is Buck, Harrison Ford's character, and the third character that I'm not going to mention.
Okay. So what's really strong about this?
What's really strong is that personal the personal trip that Buck has, because it's not just about, you know, the animal finding himself, but it actually is predicated on the fact that it can be a central point for anybody trying to find themselves. Like, you're trapped in a situation and you think you belong somewhere, but there's so much conflict, and then you have something that pulls you away, something that changes in your life, and it actually forces you to find something new in your own reflection. So, you know, it's a very personal story, but within a very typical storyline.
I'm sensing an air of irony.
Yeah.
Especially with my situation.
Your situation, some of my situation. Yeah,
but
some recent situations that, you know what, I think definitely need to make some time to go check that out before it leaves theaters.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun movie. And the flaws are obvious, but that's within the storyline, the overuse of CGI in some scenes, and just the typical, you know, predictable outcomes.
To be fair, though, as much of a man's man that Harrison Ford is, I really don't think at this point him traipsing through the Yukon is really going to be conducive.
Yeah, no. But
so,
you know,
I mean, if this is, and with this, it's like, all right, and to be fair, trying to do period type things like this, especially now when so much of those regions have been utterly destroyed.
Urbanized.
Yeah, I'd call it destroyed straight up.
That's true.
Like you really kind of have to do virtually the whole thing.
Yeah, it wasn't
on
much
a
of the
stage or a modern sound stage.
But much of the CGI, it wasn't predicated on the background or the environment. The environment is real. It's a lot of the animals and character interactions. It does take at times it takes away.
Okay.
But not all the time.
All right. So what are we gonna call this one?
It's a fun adventure film. It's a fun family film. This one, you know, you can go and bring the kids to enjoy. And if you like adventure films, I say go check it out. 3 out of 5 theater discount.
Alrighty. So
Nice.
I'm gonna keep it up with that.
No TV reviews, but there are some coming.
Oh yes, I'm sure there are.
Outsiders, hunters. Let you think about that.
Yes. Fun
Some
times.
I'm not gonna say. They gotta wait till I'm done
There you go.
to know if I like them or hate them. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know until you finish the entire series and you're like, yeah.
If I really don't like something, I get really bombastic and outrageously mad at it.
Alrighty, well, movies are done. I guess that means we're moving on to our next fun jazz. State of Game.
The game is stated. What is it stating? I don't know.
So yeah, State of Game. Yeah, a point where we talk about all the various games that we're playing. And given this crowd, I'm betting it's a lot.
Mark already left to play one. You see his seat's empty. So, you know.
He's self-promoting.
He's right behind us playing that little game.
Well, you
Called
know.
promotion.
Yes, it's called promotion, people.
Hey.
Yeah, subscribe today.
Yes, definitely subscribe today. So, first up, typically when we talk about our State of Game is on all the games we're playing. We're going to start with video games because that's modern culture right there.
That's pretty much all I play.
Yes.
Liar.
I've seen... Well, we haven't gotten them into some of the other ones yet. We will.
D&D.
Yes, we will. We will definitely throw dice at some point.
One day.
Road trip games are pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So let's start with you, Grazo. What games you've been playing?
Actually, I've been playing Space Engineers and another game that I have. It's called Oxygen Not Included. Basically, the premise is you start off with these replicants who are teleported to the surface of a planet, but something went wrong and they were teleported into the cavernous depths of the entire planet itself, and it's all sealed. And there's no other sources of oxygen, so you have to make oxygen, produce oxygen, food, and there's a teleporter there that like sends supplies every once in a while. It'll send things. There's more people, stuff like that. You can print them off. It's pretty crazy, and you have different like stats. It's a great game. It's a great time killer. It's like a base management kind of thing, sort of like the Fallout.
Yeah.
The Fallout Shelter.
Fallout Shelter, yeah.
Similar
Yeah.
to that.
Oh, okay.
And then there's Space Engineers, which I do Sunday nights and Monday nights with some friends. Jack Churchill _VR on Twitch, and we do like scenario building and with like it's modded, so you have different kinds of mods. I got into it like I was taking a ship out from the main base. There's just like a little frigate ship, and I chased down this enemy ship, disabled it, and then it I was gonna bring it back, but I got attacked by another drone, and it blew holes in my ship. So I sent out an SOS, and my friends came and saved my bacon. And then the ship limped back. And they're like, you're gonna have to fix this. Just like build something. But and then someone was like, well, since you did so horribly, why don't you just paint it pink? I'm like, well, the deconstruction color's pink. So I was like, okay, I have to do like a Pepto-Bismol pink. So I was like, I shall name this ship a Pepto-Abysmal. Because it's just terrible.
Yeah.
It sounds like it. Hey,
it was a good
Admiral,
time.
welcome to the chat.
Admiral Y11. Is that right?
Yes,
it
that
is.
Admiral
Oh,
Y11.
Admiral, yeah,
Welcome.
You know all about that. The Pepto-Abysmal.
His comment was, didn't someone relate Oxygen Not Included to Dwarf Fortress a little while ago?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as hardcore as Dwarf Fortress because that's like top down. This is just from the side.
Ah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
But still, it still has a thing where if you don't manage everything correctly, everybody either like starves to death or runs out of oxygen, and that's not good.
That definitely sounds fun.
That's pretty much it.
Hi, it's his frigate. You
To be fair, I helped him build a new ship, and he's like, oh, I guess I don't need this one anymore. You can have it. And, well, then it's now in like several pieces floating there by the station.
Well, it needed a remodeling anyway, apparently. All right. Any other games you've been playing?
No, that's about it for right now. Yeah.
All right. We'll just kind of go around. So we'll do
Not
Rye.
too much VR. Actually, Neos VR, but we'll probably get that into Patreon though.
Okay, Rye. What about you?
I have been pretty much knee deep in Division 2. With me and my friends have been rolling. We've been hitting up all the missions, all the control points. We've been like skimming up and down that map, getting ready for the expansion.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, I'm prepared to do Division 2 with you.
Yes.
So I have it on both systems, PS4 and Xbox, because that's how I roll. So, yeah.
My system that counts as PC.
Yeah, well, not all of us have a good PC to play games on.
Obviously, all I have is this.
See? So what else? It's just been Division 2? You haven't been continuing your Borderlands or Outer Worlds?
I haven't gone back to Borderlands or Outer Worlds. I am planning to pop in Days Gone eventually into the rotation, because it's just like I need a single player offline game to play outside of Outer Worlds. So I might put in Days Gone. It might be a good time sink, outside of that. And also just every time I go to the parks, I'm playing Pokemon Go. Gotta catch them all.
All right.
That's
Saladin, what about you?
Space Engineers, and I have been working on a game, I should say, for browsing, web browser.
Oh, like developing or playing?
Developing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's a kind of a 2D Duke Nukem kind of game. I've been trying to learn new JavaScript. So I decided, hey, I'm going to try to make this game, and it's actually coming out pretty good, but
He doesn't enjoy those old school.
Yes.
Old school 90s.
and it's a web-based.
And
So
Doom,
satisfying.
Quake, all the
But-
classics.
The classics are
Other
good.
than that, mainly I've been playing, there's a couple of just rinky-dink games from Steam that are, like, free.
Yeah.
When I've been bored, I go and play them. Reassembly. I've been playing a Reassembly a lot. So, really, it's been just work.
Oh, Reassembly's
Yeah.
great. That's another great game you can just drop yourself into. You pick a faction, you start off with a little small ship, there's bases and stuff. You go around collecting resources to expand your ship. You can queue up different things. You put a factory block on your ship and then spawn more ships and get into your fleet, and you can roam around as a group just murking everything that comes in your path. it's like you look down into a petri dish and there's sentient spaceship civilizations down in there. It's really the best way to describe it.
To be honest, your description doesn't make me think of that. It makes me think of Locust.
I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
The actual locust rolling through in a big swarm, and it just goes through an area and eats everything.
There is a plant faction in the game, and you can. I actually did a video a long time ago where I show people how to build an R factory generation machine that just will passively and also actively generate resources for you just with this one little trick. It's got like 12,000 views on YouTube.
Yep.
Nice.
I have one of those ships too.
It's pretty nice.
Which is what I do when I'm bored. I just roam around in this big box. But anyways, how about you, Scuba?
For me, video game wise, I actually cracked open Division 2. We talked about last week. I happened to catch it on sale. It was like 95% off on the Xbox Marketplace. So it was like I got 2 copies for like $3 because I had a $3 credit through Microsoft. I used that for my copy, and then I was nice for Valentine's Day, and I bought a copy for my wife because when we got our Xboxes several years ago, that was one of the first games I got 2 copies of was the first Division. Yeah. And we played back and forth on that for the longest time.
We played a lot. It was me, him, and his wife running through.
And another friend of ours who used to work with us, but he's has since moved on to other things.
Yes.
But it was the first time I actually had a online crew I would play a game with. Because in most of my game playing time, I have no online crew to hang out with. So
it's nice having a crew.
It is. It definitely changes that because soloing is nice, but I kind of like the whole crew because then it's like back and forth.
We did some massive damage in the first game. We bled it dry.
Yeah.
Then you can have things like, hey, I took the frigate out and there's holes in it now.
Or you could reach out to your buddy and go, hey, I want to start a Let's Play. Can you start making a scenario for me?
Yeah, like build a scenario. We'll talk about that later.
But
Hey,
I look
it works.
forward.
We'll talk about that through
I wouldn't mind
Patreon.
doing a Let's Play.
I
Let's
look
Play could
forward
be a lot
to
of
doing
fun.
some bleeding it dry in part 2. I'm ready.
Alrighty. So with that, real quick, I'll do a quick update on Agents for Short. So I think I've talked about it a couple times, but for those who don't know, there are several D&D games I host here at the Clubhouse. This particular one, I am not the dungeon master. I am one of the players.
Oh.
One of our friend Professor Penumbra is the dungeon master for this particular one, and it is centered around doing the Waterdeep Dragon Heist adventure that came out last year for Dungeons and Dragons. It's a level 1 through 5 adventure, quick little bit in Waterdeep. The reason why we call it Agents of Short is we as a group collectively decided that all of our characters were going to be small races.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
so
like,
like
I play
tieflings and
I play a dwarf, forge cleric. One of the guys, he plays a changeling who's really diminutive, like the lowest you could be. My wife's character is a gnome.
okay.
Artificer. Another friend of ours, he is doing a Duergar paladin.
Mm-hmm.
And and we have a new person who joined our group. I didn't quite catch, but I know he's a short race too. And my son played with us, but he apparently didn't get the memo, and he picked a tall character, so he was forever now named as Top Shelf. Well, yeah, he can reach the top shelf.
You gotta reach them all. Top shelf.
Someone put my potion.
You always have to have a tall friend, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much everybody.
So it's a great running gag, and it's like we kind of incorporated some things where it's like my character is the lawyer for the group.
Oh, nice.
I can't type. Vertically challenged is all I'm gonna say.
Vertically challenged.
So as we've been going through, we're getting to the last. It's 8 modules, and then the adventure's done. We went through episodes, Encounter 7 last night, where the party has gone to this tower, which is this yellow tower that's being converted to I guess a chapel for Bane.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh,
So it's like
interesting.
we're going to look for a person named Amoth.
That doesn't sound bad at all.
Right, so we go up there. We knock on. It's like we're sitting there prior to the session, going, "All right, how are we gonna get to this tower?" And of course, Penumbra's sitting there, and it's like, and we're all talking. It's like, "Yeah, we'll go through the sewers and then up from the back, or we'll be like Top Shelf and come in from the roof." And we spent about 10 minutes talking about this, and finally, Penumbra's like, "All right, what are you guys gonna do?" And I go, "We're gonna walk up and knock on the front door." So,
Jerry's the place with the. I was like, who's there?
well, he plays as like the person looks through like one of those like eye slit things, is like trying to look down or whatever, and it's like
Hold on, there's another one.
it's like we're trying to find a moth. No, we're not talking about a flame. We're not talking about a bug. We're talking about a moth. And
Lights.
at first she's like, "No, that person's not here," and a couple of us believe it because we failed the insight check. A couple others,
Okay, sounds
a
great.
couple others did not. So then it was like, okay, well, what do we do? And we're all talking about, what do we do? What do we do? We're trying to play this off. And again, Penumbra's like, all right, what are you going to do? And we're sitting there, and I'm like, man, I got this inheritance letter I need to give to this person and whatnot. So I have to. He's like, roll that for a bluff, and it's like, I nailed it. She opened the door. Was like, what inheritance letter?
Yeah.
And then our resident monk, Captain John, he nails 2 crits and knocks this person out. So we take her inside. It's like, all right, we're gonna send her off with my wife's character in an umber, and then we'll come back and then we'll figure out. Well, my wife's character ended up with the item we were looking for and all the other possessions of this person. So we're going in this tower, and we finally come across the big bad, and it's like, yeah, one attack was a lightning strike, and thankfully the captain rolled the save. Half damage was still 20, which was more than our current HP level. So it was like, yeah, this was not going to end well. So he's like,
downfall.
So Penumbra's like, all right, Manchun's gonna put dominate person on Roxo. And it's like, Roxo, you're just gonna block people from getting out. It's like, so that's where we ended that. But we had to explain to our new member what an umber is in Waterdeep.
Oh no.
So, obviously, in the real world, we have Uber, right? You have to, get an app, get them to come, whatever.
Right.
Well, in our version of Faerun,
right,
we have Umbers, which picture an Umber Hulk.
Yeah.
With the little hand cart from the Orient. And every time you need a ride, all you have to do is think, hey, I would really like to get a ride from point A to point B, and an Umber will appear. How does the Umber appear, you ask? There is a Mind Flayer camping out next to Xanathar in Waterdeep, and he controls all the Umbers. So on the one hand, that's really great service. On the other hand, wait, what?
Don't shortchange the Umbers because the Mind Flayer's their
Just
boss.
You continue with this. We'll go over that in a second.
Oh, Lord.
So, and then we got into that. Well, what about? Well, maybe we gotta have. Because you have lift. Maybe now we need lynch. So I'm like, no. That only happens in Barovia, where lynches do the same thing.
Ooh, that's a big oof.
Well, it's our shared universe of our group. It's
Right.
yeah, the shenanigans ensue.
Right.
But one of the great conversations is when you look up the various deities in D&D and you look for who they kind of cater to,
lots
whatever.
of great ones.
Well, our one character, who's the changeling, he's like, doesn't really know, and I'm sitting there, my character's a cleric, so all right, I'm looking at deities. Oh, Bane. Huh. So I asked the DM, it's like, all right, how much does my character know? Because as a player, I know this. But does my character know? And it's like, and we're getting into that. People are starting to raise their eyebrows. What are you getting at? And then finally, what are you getting at? Well, according to this, Bane tends to be the person who look for those people who are trying to collect merchant monopolies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, everybody looks at Raz, who's playing the Changeling, because his whole shtick for this entire adventure has been, we get a bar from Volo, so we're running the bar. Right. Well, he's like, no, that bar's not enough. I need to own every other business in the area, and just create this interconnected merchant monopoly. And he had no idea that this was actually catering to the deity Bane.
Are you sure you're not his agent?
That's open to interpretation, but I think after we're gonna make our way for doing Baldur's Gate to do Avernus.
Nice.
So stay tuned for Agents of Short on that one.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Now, you're gonna start reading from
right
here.
Take a break, look at chat. What's it say?
Read it.
So the question is, do we stack at any point on top of each other to in this campaign? No.
You might now.
However,
Need
racial ability of Duergar, in case you don't know, is they can cast enlarge on themselves. And our changeling character is a spellcaster. He has the ability to use the same spell on two people. So he will cast enlarge on top of the enlarge. So dwarf going from small to medium, to all of a sudden medium
angry.
to large.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
That's kind of the thing. He's our Hulk.
Or you're like, hey, we need to impersonate someone, and they stack on top of each other, put her like a trench coat, and you're like, yeah, we're totally
Well, that's what
about
what the changeling is good for. And then my character wound up with a mask of disguise,
Oh, nice.
which is a modified version of the hat of disguise. Same principle. You put the mask on, you cast a spell, you change your whole physical appearance to look like something else, somebody else. So it's like a lot of shenanigans ensue with that.
That sounds great.
Let's see, what's that? I was gonna ask what an Umber was. Yeah, Umber Hulks. It was one of those off-the-cuff things with a group, man. It's something you just when you have a live group like that, you just
roll
shenanigans
with it.
ensue.
I was
go.
thinking, like, you mentioned them holding that cart, so it's like when you, in, what was it, the new Monster Hunter World, you have the cats dragging you off in the cars when you die.
Yeah,
Yes, they
very,
do.
very
That's
much.
funny.
Oh, that is great. That is great.
It's kind of like that,
Yes,
except you
that
get
is
to go,
awesome.
you get to pick your destination.
Instead of a palico pushing you around, it's an Umber Hulk.
Punching killed. Intensified.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. Breathe, and then airsofting stuff. So, kind of shift things here. Don't really have a whole lot we're going to talk about airsofting wise this time because we've got some other stuff to go into, but there was a gameplay over the weekend that was absolutely hilarious that I felt I really wanted to kind of just highlight again for us. What we have here is the setup is attack and defend. This was Sunday afternoon. Then Sunday it was an attack and defend. The reason why this was interesting is because on Sunday I actually was out on the field playing. I was not marshalling. I was not chrono. I was actually there as a player with the battle gnomes and getting that. So we have this attack and defense setup. The attackers have to blow up a spaceship.
Ooh.
Right? So we have a prop set of dynamite, and somebody thought it'd be a good idea to put a live Thunderbee airsoft grenade attached to it. Thunderbees, in simplest terms, it's an airsoft device that makes noise because the cylinder actually punctures and releases an entire tube of CO2 like immediately. Mm-hmm. So and then the casing it's in then pops open, releasing the sound.
Right.
It's very loud. We do not allow them in the metal Connex boxes because the amplification of that sound is really bad. I actually started wearing earplugs on the field because I'm sick of like 5 grenades going off around me. So, can't imagine. So not fun. Anyways, so they have to get this stick of dynamite. Yes, airsoft flashbang, exactly. Except for the whole flashing part, just the bang. Boom. So they have to get this on the spaceship is the MiG that's out on the field. If you're looking here on the map, roughly G11 on the map is roughly where the MiG is.
Okay.
It's an actual MiG that was used by I believe the Jordanians or the Israelis that the owner happened to get because he knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy.
Sweet connection.
That connection.
It's those connections.
Does it still fly?
No.
No.
It does not have any engine in it anymore. That was taken out beforehand, and all the controls are mostly there, but if you look behind it, that's all that's there is the controls.
Yeah,
They took all the wires out. They took all that stuff out for the simple fact of it could be reused again if you threw an engine in, if those controls were still there.
Makes sense.
So, no, it does. It cannot be easily repaired.
With your imagination.
Oh yeah. So
this
is our pseudo alien spaceship.
Oh, okay, good.
So they have to get the explosives there, and then they have to extract at the halfback bunker, which is G7, roughly on the map.
Ooh.
Here's part of the problem. The attackers started in the LZ clearing, which is F-15. Or actually, no. Yeah, the
No.
LZ.
Yeah, it's 15.
LZ clearing, and they had to push. Well, the defenders were at first going to start at the North Fire Base, which is F4, but it was too muddy, so they were moved up to the North SAM site, which is
H7. H7.
H7. Well, that put them so close to the halfback, it was really hard to assault. So from a function, this kind of didn't do so well for the attackers. But me and the crew I ran with, we went. I went with the guy who had the dynamite, and instead of going down the main road through the center of town to the MiG, which was a horrible, horrible idea because everybody went to the hole in the wall, which is
In town.
in town, and that was just constantly there. And it's like, this sucks. This isn't going to work. So me and the demolitions guy were like, let's go around. So we decided to go west, around the White House, along the tree line by Cannibal Village.
So B9.
Yeah, B9 area, and then come back, and then around the pond to the North Pond Trail, which is, again, this whole B9, C9, all that, and then around to the pond bunker, and then push to the MiG. And when they go to place the dynamite, sure enough, the airsoft grenade does not work.
All that trouble.
Yes, the map is very huge. It's over 100 acres.
Yes, the field is 100 acres, so lots of fun. Oh no, I walked most of it. I don't run very well. Short little sprints.
Oh God, my. Hey, how we doing?
Hey, G-Cuts, how you doing? So that was it. And this reminds me because Saturday it was a similar attack and defend, only it was the 2 stuffed aliens, Larry on the stretcher, and then Barry, the new one.
Oh yeah.
Barry
I saw
didn't
some
have a
clips of
stretcher.
that, with the alien on the stretcher.
Yeah. Larry was in the halfback, and Barry was somewhere in the town. Two players had to carry Larry to Barry before they could move Barry to the North Fire Base.
Okay. That doesn't sound...
So in this scenario, instead of the attackers always starting in the south at the LZ, the GA decided to have them start at the North Fire Base or North SAM site, and they had to fight north or fight south instead of fighting north.
Okay.
So it's apparently the way the field is, that's actually a lot harder to do. So it made for a very interesting gameplay. I think they achieved it, but I wasn't on the field to see. But it was just this whole picturing this, and as I just described it. You have Larry on the stretcher who's got no arms and no legs. 2 people got to carry Larry on the stretcher to Barry. Once you get to Barry, then Barry and Larry have to be carried to...
Is anybody getting thrown out the window?
No,
Larry
no Larry out the window this time.
Oh,
Aha, we shall circumvent their defenses.
into the air we shall go.
No
Larry,
one ever said you couldn't do
to
that.
heaven, to heaven.
Be free from this mortal coil.
And lose an arm.
So that's that for the airsoft stuff. Some side bit shout out things is Ballahack's next zombie event, Z4. That's coming up March 21st. Go to ballahackoutdoor.com, look in the events, and go check that out. Still looks like there's still slots for survivors and all-day zombies. And the all-day zombies this time is going to be a $5 thing, but you spend all day doing the zombie. I've heard some preliminary of what's going to happen, and it's going to be interesting. I have to say it's going to be very fun to see what happens at this one because there's some definite interesting things on the table. I'll do the shout out just because I'm trying to cater to the airsofters as best I can. Another thing is Swamp Sniper has released his latest Fertile Crescent video up on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search for Swamp Sniper, check that out. I like those things because the story is really interesting, and it's a good time to watch. It's about a 30-minute video, but it's worth watching. We spent a lot of time on it. And I think with that, I'm done with the airsofting stuff. So I think we can move on to news, but let's take a minute to check our chat again. And anything interesting in chat? No, we caught everybody? Cool.
Yeah. We were talking about, and AMARO had mentioned that he was wishing that they had an old golf course to convert into it.
Oh, yeah.
And the ghost is here. The ghost is here.
Oh, okay.
And that is it. And, of course, Restream did that.
Sweet. Sweet.
And our support link, if anybody wants to know or if someone does ask, you can in Twitch, or I believe any of them, you can put ! support, and it will pull up a list of the Facebook link, Patreon, and email to reach us, and the Discord.
Nice. Alrighty. So, I got some news things to talk about before odds and ends. So, we're going to kind of roll in on that. Alright. Some gaming news is what we're going to start with. So, let's see. Here we go for our first gaming news theme. And that is having to do with Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Apparently, the sequel is in production. Ryan, what do we know about this?
What we know is that based in comicbook.com, they're reporting that Respawn Entertainment, who is a subset of Electronic Arts, who did the Fallen Order game, claimed, and very hard game. It's hard, people. Trust me, I had to drop the setting down and load to beat it at the very end, but, you know. There are in developments for a Jedi Fallen Order 2, and presumably it's going to be for the next gen. PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Oh, cool. I'm still got it up there. I haven't started playing it yet, but I think the thing that's most challenging is that concept of no fast travel.
Yeah. And also, on top of the news, not only are they developing a Jedi Fallen Order sequel, but a project at EA Motive is developing a second Star Wars game.
Oh, sweet.
So.
Alright. Gaming news number 2.
Which one?
Since we're going to stake on the D&D train,
Oh,
we got some info about Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm excited.
Oh, yes.
Yes, apparently this is going to come to early access this year.
Yes.
So I
Mid too late, sadly.
What?
Mid too late.
Oh, why?
I don't know yet. They haven't released why, but I heard a rumor that it was mid too late.
Mid too late this year? Oh, yeah. Like I said, mid too late.
Yep.
No, I'm actually curious. I think I may have played I had them, but I don't think I really played the first and second. And I keep debating on getting the mobile versions.
I do have a copy of them on my laptop on Steam, but I've not come back to play them again.
Yeah, so that'll be some interesting stuff there.
The story was great. I really did enjoy all the entire.
Yeah, well, the thing is for us with the D&D, with the Agents of Shore, we're the latest adventure they released, which is Descent into Avernus. You actually have to travel to Baldur's Gate and go through that. So it'll be really nice to see that and then see this game come up.
So, interesting tidbit from the article on IGN. They're also going to be dropping some gameplay footage at PAX East on February 27th at 3:30 p.m.
Oh, that's right. This weekend is PAX East.
Yes.
That's right.
And it's GalaxyCon up in Richmond.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Don't get your heart broken. It's okay.
It's already broken.
Oh.
Another bit of Star Wars news.
No, that is false.
This one is more books than video games.
Oh, yes.
And that is, they announced a new series of books called Star Wars: The High Republic.
Oh, yeah. As is reported on IGN, it's going to take place 200 years before the events of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and it's going to be a circulation of one big overarching story told through the comic books and literature of the Star Wars universe.
So that will be some interesting stuff.
Oh yes.
Yoda's old enough to be in that series too.
That's
So
true.
there's
There's probably a young version of Yoda.
Are you sure? Though?
I mean, in the current, like, it's 200 years before. That means he's only.
Oh, he's already into his. He's already well into adult Jedi Jedi Master.
So yeah, there's some interesting tidbits. They talk about what the villain is going to be a villain known as the Space Viking like Neo, and it's going to have a very like Wild Wild West Texas Ranger style Jedi's in it. You know, fighting for the good old boys.
All right. Got another bit of news here. This one's going to be airsoft related, and that is Polar Star, which is a company that manufactures kits for putting into airsoft rifles to take them from AEG or electronic motor and converts them to high pressure air, which is what HPA stands for.
Yeah.
This is interesting because this new kit from Polar Star that pre-orders are going to open up February 28th, as you can see in the screen. This is a all mechanical system.
Analog completely.
Yeah, completely. Because unlike a lot of the other ones, you still have your electronics and batteries that you still have to program. Which, in airsoft, electronics are cool. There's a lot of electronic pieces, but unfortunately, if you happen to be on the field when it rains,
Ooh.
it kind of sucks.
Unless you're prepared.
Yes, unless you're prepared. And I have seen people put their M4 airsoft rifles inside a trash bag, tape it up, and pop a hole so they can shoot BBs out. And they wander around with it like that. It's like, okay.
It works. Hey,
if it works, it works.
It
Especially
works.
if you take a heat gun to that bag and it shrinks it down. It's perfect. Wait, I've never done that before. Never mind.
This is
Shrink
exactly
wrap
like
guns.
what we were talking about pre-show. It's like you go to airsoft thinking one thing, and then after you're there for a little bit, all of a sudden you realize there is a whole different dimension of conversation that
Trash
you go.
bag guns.
Yes, James Burr, that's exactly why and where I learned it, okay?
Actually, in World War II, when marching on the D-Day, they actually a lot of the people in the boats had their rifles in plastic bags for that landing. Because it was one of the first things you had to do was
Wait through the water.
wade through the water and pull your gun out of your bag.
With this new system, the Polar Star system, it's going to allow faster response times, which is going to actually increase, the pressure that comes out when it's pushing on the BBs, and also it's going to increase the speed of which you can actually pull the trigger and then another one comes. So your RPS, or your rounds per second, will increase by a dramatic amount. So my tidbit is I'm hoping when these get put into these systems, there's some way to limit that, the RPS.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's like, yes, it'll open up your rounds per second, but check with your local field to find out if they have any restrictions on how many rounds per second you can fire, or rounds per minute
That's
you
good
can
to know.
fire.
As someone who doesn't
Good.
know anything about airsoft, there's another
Correct.
IP,
Not a
rounds per
meal,
second
nothing
limit.
here.
It is very common that someone comes down to Ballahack and brings in this rifle. Oh, I just got it. It's so great. They bring it in. They do the testing. And, yeah, it's like 100 over what your limit is.
Okay.
Because they bought
100
it.
over in terms of feet per second, because that's how
Well,
that's how they're measured. So,
Okay.
yep,
A general.
feet per second, and then also it's like the rounds per second. So,
Okay.
I think Ballahack is you can't for a fully auto you can't exceed 25 rounds.
Correct.
For a semi, I don't believe you can exceed 12 or 15.
Basically, how fast you can pull that trigger.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the only difference is paintball's messy. Paintball's very messy.
And it hurts a lot more. Yes. Leaves bigger bruises for longer.
Okay. I will concede that it does leave a bigger bruise, but I guarantee you, though, if you had the dentist hit you with that full thrust kit in his SR-25...
But he had to be in the proper range. Hence, MEDs.
Yes, minimum engagement distance. Gotta love them.
All right, save your teeth and your face.
Alrighty.
And not your arm. Oh,
Last thing, and this is for D&D DM nerd like me. D&D Beyond announced today that their combat tracker is now an alpha. What does this mean to anybody who doesn't use D&D Beyond? Is D&D Beyond has last year they implemented an encounter maker where you could build out and kind of balance an encounter, because some people, will put like a CR, like a really powerful monster against a small group of noobs and wonder why the noobs got
ran over, eaten.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we win?
Look,
See, that look he's giving me is because
Have you
previously we talked about his
Somebody's done
group
it in this group.
came over for a session, and I dug a module out of from a dungeon mag, which was Mayhem at Midnight, and there was a creature in there that did not move up from 2nd edition to 5th edition, so I found a suitable replacement.
Quote.
And the suitable replacement happened to be so powerful that virtually none of them could score a direct hit. This is the first time I've had a creature walk away from the party and not get killed.
Yeah.
I'm too busy with you guys.
He just wanted to get some
good.
Starbucks,
Yeah.
It was a good deal.
They're like-
They did manage to, through creative attacks, managed to get the hit points down to the threshold to get it to run away or retreat, but it was not through conventional means.
No. No.
Push your team to the limit.
Oh, yeah.
So
I lost the scimitar.
but the thing is with this is like this
Push it to the limit.
with what was released for the encounter the encounter creator the encounter builders, it only covered the monster side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then anybody who's run a D&D game, it's like when you get into a combat, you get that initiative order. It's like trying to manage initiative and manage the returns.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot. Well, now with this, and I was just checking out, this will actually, the combat tracker will let you roll the initiative for your monsters, input the initiative for your players, because now you can import your players into the encounter builder.
Ooh, nice.
And it will track your turns and what order in the initiative and what rounds you're on.
And any status effects as
Yeah.
well that would.
Because the nice thing with the encounter builder is it balances, where it's like you can tell, okay, if I have 6 5th level characters, after a certain point, when that difficulty bar goes from green to red, it's like, okay, this could be a little difficult. Let's see how they handle it. And then, whether or not it's rule 0, DM reserves the right to change whatever the DM wants. It goes into effect.
Ah,
So,
nice.
but yeah, that was
That's a very handy tool.
yes, it is. I'm very excited about that.
Does it have a place for Colonel Cluckers?
Yes, because there's a homebrew section. I can make Colonel Cluckers.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting story for Patreon.
It is.
And we have went over it in a previous episode. So
Yes, we have gone over Colonel Cluckers, so check out the previous episodes of the show to check that out.
And I will explain to Volgraza after the show.
Nice. Look
All
forward.
right, I guess we can kind of roll into our odds and ends, right?
Yeah, we can roll in that. I start off with the 2 news articles.
We will do that after we do our segment music for odds and ends. So we'll do that.
The only person that's left is him now.
Oh,
Air
Do your
guitar.
do your jazz hand.
Yeah,
Jazz.
no.
Beard fingers.
Bird fingers, yay! Oh boy.
All right. So odds and ends, collection of internet stories that we find that we just have to react to. And
We don't
the
always
first one we're going to react is one that came out really recently, and that is Disney CEO Bob Iger steps down.
Yes, he has.
Whoa!
So,
I'm sorry. It's like this is the dude that has overseen Disney for a lot of the major things that have come out.
So, the Marvel acquisition, the Star Wars acquisition of Fox, the expansion of all the parks and all the animated studio stuff, and he's stepping down. But it might seem a shock or immediate, but when you read through the articles, but the one that I pulled from is Huffington Post, they have a transition plan in place that they've been working up to. So this wasn't just sudden.
Oh, of course not. You get the every company
Yeah.
that has the whole CEO structure like that, especially one as Hydra-like
Yeah.
as Disney is.
So-
You have to have that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Public.
yeah.
So, as reported on Huffington, the person that's stepping into his shoes is Bob Chapek. The CEO is replacing him effective immediately, and he was ahead of all the parks and all the other stuff. But Iger will remain on as chairman through December 31st, 2021.
That'll be good for the transition.
Yeah. And Chapek is only the 7th CEO in Disney history since
That's
its
pretty good
inception.
considering.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
I think it's going to be good. New people, fresh ideas, different perspectives to go on.
But what do you think of that whole end of an era?
It's kind of sad to see him go since he's able to be accomplished so much. But at the same time, we got all of the different things.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's of
So-
course the Spider-Man thing, which is still up in the air between Sony and.
Actually, it's not. They had a roundtable not too long, like a few days ago, where Tom Rothman and Bob Iger were talking about how like the deal is just going to be recycled at the end of every deal.
Okay.
So at the end, it's going to be recycled. They're literally Tom Rothman says that they're going to keep Spider-Man in the MCU until the foreseeable future.
Oh, good.
Because it's
That's good.
as he said, it's a win-win-win.
Oh,
Win
yeah.
for Sony, win for Disney, and win for the fans. So
Yeah.
they're just gonna keep recycling the deal to make the story work.
Unless Disney decides to just go ahead and buy the franchise outright, which is like a lot of money.
No. That is not how Disney rolls. That is not how Disney rolls. I'm not going to buy your franchise.
I'm
gonna
gonna
buy
buy
you.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. You
That
want me
was
to
the-
buy
Just buy
Yeah.
Sony.
Just
when
take
we
Sony.
when we talked about this like 4 or 5 months ago,
Yeah.
and it was at the first break of that deal, it was like I sat there and said, 2025, Disney buys Sony.
Or
You don't have to.
even worse, an even better scenario is somebody else buys Sony, but if that happens, Disney gets the rights to Spider-Man completely, the entire thing, for free.
Disney's just gonna
It's
buy
just
it outright.
Disney gets all of
But
it.
if they buy them,
Marvel back.
I don't have
right,
to.
Right now, I mean, part of the reason with buying Fox is all the distribution rights for Star Wars: A New Hope, because
Yeah.
that's the only one that Disney does not have the distribution rights to.
Yeah. Why go and make your own game system if you can just buy one?
There you go.
Right,
Perfect.
right.
The Disney Sony PlayStation.
The Disney Sony PlayStation.
Just
Hey,
a
it comes now. Sony PlayStation will have Disney Plus.
Metal Gear Mickey.
Well, they would add Metal.
Well,
they
I mean,
would
come
add
on.
Mickey to the, or
Kingdom Hearts
Kingdom
has
Hearts
already
would get
proved
Metal Gear,
that you could take a major developer and add Disney stuff and be like,
yeah,
we're
Square
good.
Enix was
Disney
in there.
was laying the foundation.
Yes.
It's going to happen,
it's
people.
a
It's
Disney MCU.
going to happen.
Alrighty.
2025. You heard it.
Next story we're going to talk about, and that is Witcher Season 2 production has begun.
Yes.
And with that announcement, we have more cast info.
A lot more info came out about this. So production has began for season 2 in the UK. One of the most notable new additions to the cast, as quoted by IGN, is Fast and Furious 9's Stu Ramsson. Rasmussen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Who will be playing Eskel, a Witcher from the School of the Wolf who established an early friendship with Geralt of Rivia, having been raised alongside him.
Also, we have Paul Bolin and Yasin Atour playing the roles of Lambert and Cohen.
So it seems like they're expanding the Witcher lore a little bit more.
Oh yeah, and this is a lot. And it looks like a lot of the original cast is also coming back to reprise all of their roles.
That's gonna be good. I really enjoyed the Witcher series.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Speaking of which, our season 1 recap went live on YouTube yesterday.
Check it out, people.
So yeah, where we talk about the whole season. in context. So, also episode 8 too.
They also said something about possibly Mark Hamill joining.
Oh yes. Okay. One of the things you would look at through the article is that there is no mention of Vesemir.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with it, Vesemir is the guy who's the mentor to a lot of these to Geralt and whatever, but there's no mention of him. And the thing is Vesemir there's some fan buzz about the fans put a petition or whatnot to get Mark Hamill to play Vesemir, which that would be an amazing casting. This article theorizes that the reason why Vesemir is not mentioned in this release is they are either finishing negotiations for who's going to cast Vesemir and are holding that till closer to release, or Vesemir is not going to make his appearance in season 2 and may make his appearance in a later
They
season.
can't get who they want them to be in season 3.
One or the other.
The nice thing about this, and the article even says it, if the show is successful, more prominent actors will want to be a part of it.
Yes.
So,
And more expansion of the lore.
yes. So I'm looking forward. Staying tuned for that. We'll see how that goes. So with that, now we got some more fun stuff to talk about.
Falling in the rabbit hole, good and
Fallen
bad.
in Rebel. Here's one. Got a picture for it, and this is as of this past weekend at the Toy Fair in New York. Electronic Arts announced. Oh, I said that right? Yeah.
Hasbro.
Hasbro is bringing back the Tiger Electronics handhelds, and the 4 handhelds they're doing is they're doing a Transformers, an X-Men, a Little Mermaid, and I'm trying to remember what the 4th one was.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh man.
So this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, totally awesome.
Those are so cheap to make. I wonder how much they'll be. Oh, 15.
So, as reported on Gizmodo, they are available for pre-order from GameStop right now, $15 each.
I gotta say though, if you looking at the article, just the Transformers one, the fact that have the Gen 1 art from I'm good.
Sounds pretty good.
So yeah, this will be exciting.
One of each, please.
Yes, totally.
I want one.
All of them.
All of them.
$60 for all 4.
It's a worthy $60.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get it.
I mean, come on. How many of us have spent our time sitting there going beep, 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 beep?
No.
I had an
Never.
original Game & Watch that had Mickey Mouse collecting eggs from 2 hens.
I've got an old the Batman one, where it was like it was the Batman series from the I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, where it was like Penguin had those 2 and all that. So I have one of those, and he had little. Actually, no, it was Batman the Animated Series, that one, and you had these little cards you slid through that would read and give special abilities. It's wild.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There you go. Paperboy. All right. Next story.
Oh, that's right. I can actually
This-
talk.
This one's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's a sad news.
I'm used to being over there.
Yeah. In the corner, he's hiding. He's
Or
just
he
a
doesn't
voice.
want to talk, even though the mic will still pick him up.
Correct.
Right.
You just hear him in the back just laughing.
So this one's a bit of sad news, and that
Sad
is we're
news.
gonna say rest in peace, Larry Tesler, who passed away at the ripe young age of 74.
Yes.
Ugh.
Sad news.
Why is this important for anybody who doesn't know? Is this is the guy who came up with copy and paste.
Control-C, Control-V into one.
The function that many people just do muscle memory, this is the guy that came up with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the image we have up here is from the Xerox Twitter feed that posted, because I believe he was working for Xerox when he came up with this.
Correct. The Commodore 64 did not have a copy-paste function.
How
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
The original Commodore did not have the function. In Commodore 64, you had to do an upgrade to the system to actually have the copy-paste feature added.
Wow.
To be able to
Software
do it.
upgrade back in the day.
That's
Yeah.
a major one.
All right, I
No.
got my upgrade.
It was a hardware upgrade.
Yeah. You had...
Hang on a second.
How many of us use that on a regular basis? Actually, I can't even think of these show notes being done without copy and paste.
Let's see. I've used copy paste 20, 30 times from the start of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good one, James. For imagine back in those days, you came up with this at a company that makes copiers.
That's irony.
So much irony this week. So much.
Very much so.
Alrighty. Story number 3 is talking about we all have these cool collectible things we do.
Yes.
I collect minis, D&D stuff, cards, whatever, but this cat, this is a mansion in Southern Cali that's a $26.5 million. And it has a basement that is an ode to Star Wars.
Yes.
They're a super fan. Because I can see some of the
Yeah,
pictures
it's
there. That's actually
as
crazy.
reported on
That's an
CNET.
actual model suspended from the ceiling.
Yes, as reported on CNET.com, the 18,183 square foot home is loaded with incredible collectibles, life-size props, and a Star Wars themed home theater.
Yes.
Wow.
As I was looking through the pictures in that, I counted about 15 to 20 full-size mannequin of characters of like Chewie from Empire Strikes Back, all the various clone
Has
troopers,
a bar.
Starship
The
troopers.
bartender looks really shitty.
Stormtroopers. Yeah, the bar, the theater. It's just wild. Like in this one, you have the 3 bounty hunters.
Yeah.
It's wild.
There was the bartender in the picture I saw was Dorito, and he has a gun. It's like, I don't know if I want to order a drink from this guy.
Yeah, he's a little shifty there.
Hey, but at least he'll give me a shot.
Out of everything, that home theater system is I would sacrifice my firstborn for that.
That would be.
I would sacrifice my firstborn for that.
Available now on Airbnb.
I
8K
would.
a night. Who's going?
You know what?
I have a lot of movies I can play in
That might
this
be worth
theater.
it just to hang out in that room for a little
But
bit.
here's the caveat: you must stay at least 2 nights in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Oh boy. Next story is...
Next story is a little bit of kind of weird.
This
but
is what we call Rye guy falling in the rabbit hole.
yeah, Rye sends me all these weird things, and I gotta tell you, this one is like, okay, so let's meet, as the headline puts it in the show notes, which you will see, meet the glorious Dracula parrot that can only be found in New Guinea.
Yeah. The Dracula parrot goes by the Pescut parrot, and like you said, it is found in New Guinea with its black and red plumage and a vulture-like appearance. This bird is truly remarkable. End quote.
I've got nothing for that. That just looks. It's like the animal kingdom just keeps coming up with weird.
It's the greatness.
Part of the vultures. Part of
Yeah.
like a vulture type species.
It is just to add some descriptions. It's a large parrot with the total length of approximately 46 centimeters and a weight of 680 to 800 grams.
It's not bad for a parrot.
No. And it does not go around drinking blood, sadly.
No,
But
no, it just looks kind of
Yeah.
scary.
It figs with such a specialized diet. It's one of the creatures that was threatened before it was ever designated vulnerable by red lists.
Alrighty.
Yeah, if you want to look at more, you can go to 9gag.com to look at more descriptions, videos, and
It's
whatnot.
a beautiful bird.
I think I'm going to change from wolf to Dracula bird.
Dracula parrot.
No, I'm going to stay with wolf.
Oh wow!
No, that,
And on
that
that
transition
note-
might suck.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we are going. I think we are done for the night on this and ready to
Yes.
roll into the shenanigans that is Patreon.
Roll in the deep end.
So before we get too far along with that, we're going to run through our contact info. which I've been doing improvements. So,
That looks great.
alrighty. Let's see. Where can you find us? Huh? Oh. And of course, in the chat, we post all that. So, yeah, check us out. Give us likes. Anything on our anything to say on our sign off, or we pretty much good.
You can find me.
We're kind of ready.
You can find me on Instagram, EcubusTrav. Look forward to future movie reviews, some old school rewind, hopefully, and probably one for The Invisible Man.
Nice. Nice. You can find me on most social medias. That's Scuba Cod. Yep. Shout out to Ballahack Airsoft, definitely.
I'm working on a Twitter myself for art only. It's like an art only Twitter. It has like some of the political stuff I do that's separate from my main thing. So if you're interested, it's at JaminAllen1.
Okay. Toss a note in there. Alright. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a good night. And if you're a Patreon member, stay tuned. We're gonna roll over a Patreon chat in our Discord server. Why are you pointing?
Scuba.
Oh, pointing to me.
Down.
Oh yeah, down.
Down there is your information.
Click,
Yes.
follow me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can't click on them, but you can.
Click on me, please.
All right, guys. Stay tuned. We're rolling the Discord, Patreon chat. Interact with us. We're gonna have some shenanigans for a little bit, and we will catch y'all on the next week.
Peace.
Later, guys.